This video will focus on the kiss of Ra, but it's focusing on the kiss of Ra on the black skin. But the kiss of Ra kisses everything on earth. It shines on everything on earth. And it is equivalent to what Jesus is. Ashay, Ma'at Hotep. This is The Truth May Hurt. My name is Raymond Witcher, and I am your host. I'm going to do a video on what I'm titling, What is the Kiss of Ra? R-A, what is the kiss of Ra? Okay. Before we get into that, I want to thank everyone that has been sticking with me. I think we have 3 or 4 new subscribers. Thanks for joining. We appreciate it. Please give feedback. Today is January the 9th and is the second video of today. Okay, we're going to get right into it. Okay, so what is the kiss of Ra? If you do a search on what is the kiss of Ra, it's a lot of information down here, but the AI summary says, to understand the kiss of Ra, consider these key points. The kiss of Ra refers to a symbolic gesture of divine blessing in ancient Egyptian culture. Again, it's not really from Egyptian culture, it's from the Kemetic culture before the Greek came in and conquered. Okay, but it's the same thing. It's the kiss of Ra. Okay, it is a divine blessing in ancient Egyptian culture. It was a blessing in our culture. Okay, it represents the sun god Ra, affection and protection over the pharaoh and the land. The concept is often depicted in art, showing Ra bestowing light and life. The kiss symbolizes the connection between the divine and the earthly realm. It emphasizes the importance of the sun in agriculture and daily life in ancient Egypt. The phrase is sometimes used metaphorically in modern context and signify enlightenment and inspiration. Okay, so the kiss of Ra or the kiss of the sun or the kiss of the sun god Ra, if you really look at it in the Christian context of Jesus, you can start seeing the parallels. Okay, but I'm not going to delve into that too much because I'm trying to show you a couple of other things. Okay. Okay. So when we're talking about the title of this video, it is what is the kiss of Ra? Okay. So if you do a search on what is the kiss of Ra in relationship to the sun shining on black skin, okay, because this was our mythology. This is what we were taught, and the hieroglyphics and everything depicted these things. So to understand the kiss of Ra in relationship to the sun shining on black skin, consider the following points. The kiss of Ra symbolizes the sun, life-giving energies and warmth, kind of like Jesus. It highlights the cultural significance of the sun in various African traditions. Okay. The skin contains more melanin, which provides natural protection against UV rays. The sun's rays can enhance the production of vitamin D in the body. This concept creates the beauty and resilience of black skin under the sun. Read that again. This concept celebrates This concept celebrates, I said creates, this concept celebrates the beauty and resilience of black skin under the sun. It emphasizes the connection between nature and identifying an African heritage. Okay, one of the reasons that I'm doing this video is because everything about us was stripped from us. Everything about us my last video was, a second. Okay, the last video I did was, they only want us to believe what their colonial system gave us to believe. And everything that they gave us to believe about us was not good. You're too dark, you're too black. Everything about you is wrong. God hates you the way you are, and we need to civilize you. Okay? So they had to destroy everything that we had been taught before we met them. And when they learned everything about our mythology, they took it and created a white image of that and said that everything that we did before was wrong. So the reason I'm doing this is because in the way that they erased everything and the way that they taught us that God didn't like dark-skinned people, because that's what they put in the Bible, that dark-skinned people or Negroes have the curse of Ham, okay? And we're made to be slaves and this kind of thing. So doing this process of instilling their philosophies and psychology, they had to create a better than, less than within the African population. So the darkest skin, black, were the most hated by God. Okay? They will work the hardest. They had to make the darkest skin black hate the lightest skin black, because the lightest skin black got easier work. They will work the less. They got to work in the house with master, these kind of things. So they had to set up a system that turned black people against black people. They turned black people against black people because of the darkness of their skin, the kinkiness of their hair. The ones that had the straighter hair or they had the mixed white blood, of course, these are better slaves. So the dark-skinned people got it bad. They got it bad. Okay. So we have to repair this misteaching. This is why I'm showing you. The darkest skinned people have the strongest genetics. Their bodies can be protected more from the sun. This is what this is saying. Okay, this is what this is saying. Okay, the sun rays can enhance the production of vitamin D in the body. So melanin is one of the most important things. If melanin might be the most important thing in our universe. Melanin sells for, well, it did sell for $450 a gram. Let me check. Okay, so if you do a search on what is the price of melanin per gram, you can come down here and open up this link, how much is melanin per gram. It tells you right here, reported costs, $450 to $1,150 per gram. They don't want us to know about us. They don't want us to know what makes us so powerful, what makes us so suitable for Earth in every sense of the word. Okay? You surely heard of melanin in hold on one second. You surely heard of melanin, the pigment that is formed in the skin and hair of Asian and African people. Okay, you can pull this up and read it. But how much is melanin worth per gram? But even so, melanin is worth around $450 to $1,150 per gram, which means it is worth more than gold and other precious metals. Okay, so then let's ask a simple question: what is the most commonly used for melanin? Is that what I said? What is melanin commonly used? What is melanin commonly sold to do? Do a search on that. Okay, and to enhance skin tone and protect against UV damage, melanin is commonly sold for the purpose of skin tanning products to achieve a bronze appearance, sunscreens that claim to boost natural protection from UV rays, cosmetic products aimed at evening out skin tone, hair dyes that mimic natural melanin and color enhancements, supplements marketed for skin health and pigmentation support, medical treatments for conditions like vertigo and to restore skin color. So who needs melanin? Who are buying the majority of these products? Not us. And let me show you. Our skin produces its own melanin. Okay? Just to make sure I didn't miss it. Understanding the kiss of Ra in relation to the sun shining on black skin. It says the sun's rays can enhance the production of vitamin D in the body. The concept creates the beauty and resilience of the black skin, and it emphasizes the connection between nature and the identity of Africans. Okay, so if we do a search on why does skin tan when exposed to the sun? Okay. The skin tans when exposed to the sun due to a biological response to ultraviolet radiation. When UV rays hit the skin, they stimulate melanocytes, the cells responsible for producing melanin. Our skin produces its own melanin. So the products that are made with melanin, and the reason that the cost of melanin is about the most expensive thing on earth at as much as $1,150 per gram, is because the people that tell us that God doesn't like us the way we are need it to protect them from the sun. I mentioned on a previous video that I mentioned it on several videos, but I'm going to bring it back in. The only indigenous people on earth are black people. We are the children of the Son of God, the real Son of God, the S-U-N of God, the one that does everything that the Bible says Jesus Christ does. The S-U-N does that. And we are the children of the sun. It is required to have melanin to successfully exist on this planet. You either have to have been born with it or you have to have a way of getting it. Now, let me show you. Well, let me finish this. Because I don't want to not get this in. The cells responsible for producing melanin, which is a protective pigment. This process is known as melanogenics. Leads to the production of more melanin, resulting in the visible darkening of the skin. UV rays penetrate deeper into the skin and can cause immediate darkening, while UVB rays primarily affect the outer layer and lead to delayed tanning. You know, I can go out in the sun, man. I black up quick. The body's response to UV exposure is a defense mechanism to protect the skin from further damage, and the tan serves as a sign of the skin's ability to absorb UV radiation. Whites. Most whites, not all, because some whites do have melanin. Most whites have melanin in their hair, but not in their pigmentation. But some whites do. But our melanin absorbs the rays of the sun and converts it into energy. Okay, that's the bio. Let me see. Wait a minute. Plants go through biosynthesis. Wait a minute. Plants go through biosynthesis. What's this one called? It'll come to me. And it converts the sun into energy, and vitamin D, and energy. Okay. Factors such as genetics, skin type, and UV exposure duration influence how quickly and deeply the skin tans. Understanding these processes can help in managing the sun exposure and protecting the skin from potential damage. So as our skin darkens, it increases the protection from the UV rays. It is our sunscreen. It is our solar panels. Okay, it's the thing that makes us unique, that also makes us hated and biblically cursed. Okay, but this is true. Okay, they don't want us to know this. This is one of the reasons why they keep coming up with ways to lighten our skin. This is why the Willow Lynch letter said we gotta mix the good white blood with the bad nigger women blood to get the right skin tone. It's a lot that, you know, we really need to understand, okay, of ourselves, that we really, really don't. So this is why some people tan while others burn, okay? Blacks don't usually burn, we tan, okay? So we have to appreciate the sun. We are children of the sun. We are not allergic to the sun. You have to understand something, that the white Europeans that came out of the Caucasus Mountains after the Ice Age, that had lost their pigmentation, they had lost the non-ether hair, and they had straight hair. You know, they were in bad shape. That whole race almost died off from disease and just dealing with trying to live on Earth without melanin. Okay, and the Moors, who were the first rulers of Europe, taught them. Okay, so we need to know and appreciate the sun. We are not allergic to the sun. The people that are allergic to the sun gave us a Jesus Christ white God that is allergic to the sun. How am I going to have a God over me that's allergic to the sun? You know, the S-O-N is allergic to the S-U-N. It's a riddle book. Okay, so let's understand that. So when we're talking about the kiss of Ra, what is the kiss of Ra? The kiss of Ra is when black people are out in the sun with our skin exposed, and the UV rays of the sun reflect off of our skin and are being absorbed into our skin. When we can see how our skin has a relationship with the sun, because we can see ourselves tanning and not burning. Okay? The sun conditions our skin. Okay? Because, we have a direct relation with the sun through our melanin. Now, the Bible says the light came from the darkness. The darkness didn't come from the light. Before the biblical story of the creation, I don't think God created the sun or created light until the fourth day. So there was the only thing that there was no light. So even when in Genesis chapter 1, God said on which day? He said, let there be light. And then he says that he created the sun. Let me say, hold on. Okay, so if you go to Genesis chapter 3, verse 1, is when, and God said, let there be light. And there was light. Okay. Okay, and in Genesis 1:6, and God made two great lights. The greater light that ruled the day, and the lesser light that ruled the night. So he made the sun to rule the day, and the moon to rule the night. Even though in Genesis 1 and 3, he said, let there be light, and there was light. Well, it couldn't have been light before he created the sun for the day and the moon for the night. So until that time, everything was melanin. Everything had melanin. Because there was no light. Okay? So we need to understand these things. That's a contradiction in the Bible, and they will rationalize it in all kind of ways, but you're supposed to be able to take the Bible, God's holy word for word, and you're not supposed to have anybody explain it to you. You're not supposed to need anybody, and I'll show you that. Okay, I don't want to break off because I don't want to extend this. But melanin is everywhere. Everything on earth has melanin. Okay, and the only thing, or the most popular thing on earth that has the least melanin is the last race to show up on earth. And I showed you in my last video that the white race has only been on earth 8,000 years. We have skeletons of us 1 and 2 million years old. Okay, we can show that we have can track our ancestry back 300,000 years. But we're letting the people that have been here 8,000 years tell us everything about God that they got from us. And because we have not educated ourselves and our children anything about us pre-slavery, we just going along for the ride. Okay, so when we're talking about melanin and the kiss of Ra and who we are, when we are in our natural way and our natural beauty, when we are highlighting ourselves. Let me show you this, and then I need to show it another way, but since I'm here in this video, I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to show you why I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay, there's nothing that's going to turn heads more than black people when we're in our natural, when we are showing our natural beauty, when we are highlighting the Africanness of ourselves. Okay, and when we do that, you're going to turn heads, especially if you're really dark skinned, melanated, dark skinned. When you walk the streets, people are going to stop and stare. Okay, when the Europeans came out of the Caucasus Mountains, and then they because Europe is in Africa's back door, front door. Okay, so they went all around the Mediterranean Sea, Egypt and Ethiopia and Libya, and all the way down Ghana South Africa. So they were seeing all of the beauty. But when they went into when they went into Mali and they saw Mansa Musa, who was the richest man in the world until recently, he came into Egypt with his convoy. And he brought in so many chariots of gold that he gave away enough gold at Cairo, Egypt to change the economy. Okay, to basically shut it down, because the economy is set up on need. And if you have everything you need, the economy doesn't have anything to sell. And you have enough money to buy everything you need, then, and it messed up the Europeans' minds when they saw that. Okay, and you're looking at people that look like this. So when you see us and our elegance and beauty, and you are dark skinned, especially if you are out in the sun and that sun is radiating and the UV rays are highlighting you, you're going to turn heads. There's no doubt about it. Okay, you're going to get some attractions. Okay. Hold on. So all eyes are on us. This is why we're hated. We are the original. Okay? And when we're in our natural beauty, and this is why I encourage sisters, look, be yourself. You're going to turn every head on the block. Okay? So, when she comes outside and the kiss of Ra touches her skin, man, okay? Just be yourself, okay? We don't need to be Afropeans. Look at the heads turn around. Look. Look. Okay? Just drop dead gorgeous. Okay? And I'm going to show you why I'm showing you this. When you're hated because they can't compete. Look, look at the heads. Well, they ready to go. Look at her, she got to get a picture. Look at her, she's trying to sneak a picture, look. Yeah. Homeboy don't miss now, watch him, look at her. Yeah, she coming. Okay. So when it comes to us, just spin the wheel. Just spin the wheel. Wherever it stops. When this kiss of Ra touches the skin of a highly, deeply melanated black woman or black man, there's nothing else like it on earth. There's no other beauty like it on earth. Period. Okay, the reason I showed you that, I should have showed you this first, but it'll still make as much sense. Okay, so if you do a search, do a search on what were the beauty standards in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Okay, you'll see emphasize on youthfulness, fresh looks with minimum makeup, iconic style featured bold eyeliner and natural lips. And you gotta remember, natural lips. They're talking about white women's lips. They're talking about white European women's features. Popularizing by models Twiggy and Showcase white women. Okay. In the 1970s, embrace of natural beauty and bohemian styles, long hair, fashions, and ethnic influences became trendy. Fitness culture emerged, promoting toned bodies. In the 80s, bold, elegant makeup with bright colors heavy contours, big hair and shoulder pads defined. Okay. Now it wasn't until the 90s when they included black women's features, shifted towards more aesthetic with supermodels like Naomi Campbell and Kate Moss set the standards for beauty. So it wasn't until 1980s that black women were recognized for having beautiful features. All the way up until then, it was the beauty standards were European women standards. Okay, they had no features of beauty and black women's features. Okay. How long were all beauty pageants all white women? Okay, we're talking about beauty, okay? Early beauty pageants primarily featured on white contestants, reflecting societal norms of that time. What are the norms? Whiteness, okay? The first Miss America pageant was in 1921, including only white women. Racial diversity began to emerge in the 1970s with the inclusion of women of color. The 70s. It included them, but it didn't include our features until 1990. Remember we just saw, right? The first American Miss America was Vanessa Williams, was crowned in 1984. But Vanessa Williams' mother was white. I think her mother was white or her father was white. So she had European features. Okay? Gorgeous, gorgeous woman. We have all of the features. We have the straight hair, we have the 9-ether hair. You know, we have it all. Vanessa Williams. By the 1990s and 2000s, more pageants actively promoted diversity and inclusion. Today's beauty pageants feature contestants from various racial and ethnic backgrounds. So they had to strip us down. They had to strip us down and erase everything about us. You know, it was horrible. So when we're talking about the kiss of Ra, we're talking about our relationship with the sun. Our skin being made for the sun, and by us being the first people on earth, as we saw in my previous video, that the Homo sapiens showed up in Africa 300,000 years ago, the Africans. And from that, we migrated all over earth, creating all of the other races. Okay, they don't want us to know that. They don't want us to know that they came from us. Now, it's ironic that they have conditioned the black mind to take bleaching pills or bleach their skin to become lighter. And the whole time that they're doing that, they're taking melanin shots, melanin pills, melanin cosmetics, melanin sunblock to just survive on this planet. And we are messing ourselves up because we're psychologically damaged. We're in a psychosis. Psychosis definition is you are no longer in touch with reality. You're crazy. You have been put on a daydream that wasn't designed for you. We have been put on a daydream that wasn't designed for us. So we have to get that back. Okay, so who is Amun-Ra? To understand who Amun-Ra, consider the following points. Amun-Ra is an ancient Egyptian deity, often regarded as the king of gods. Okay, like Jesus Christ, right? King of kings, Lords of lords. That's where they get it from. He is a fusion of two gods, Amun, the god of the air and creation, and Ra, the god of the sun. Okay, in this presentation, The question is, what is the kiss of Ra? So Amun-Ra is the mythology of joining two gods, okay? Amun-Ra was worshipped primarily, my eyes, from Thebes, where he had a major temple. He symbolized power, creation, and the sun's life-giving force, life-giving energies. Amun-Ra was often depicted as a man with a ram's head or as a solar disk. He was worshipped. His worship peaked during the New Kingdom period of ancient Egypt. Okay, so when the Greek came in to Kemet and they saw, hold on, let me show you. Okay, these are some images of Amun-Ra. Okay, and when the Egyptians, and these are images of Amun-Ra that are engraved in the African hieroglyphics. Now these are huge. I'm gonna try to find some. Okay, these are huge images that, let me see if I can find better images. This is a good one. They have huge images like this in Egypt of Amun-Ra. Okay. And they're in the African hieroglyphics, they're everywhere. So when the Egyptians came in and saw these mythical gods, they had to create their own. But the Egyptians would not worship the Greeks' god because the Greeks' god didn't represent the Africans. Okay, then they created their version when Ptolemy was incarnated in Egypt as the first European pharaoh. The first European pharaoh in Egypt was named Ptolemy. I forgot if it was the fourth or the fifth. During his incarnation, this is when they drink blood. So when you're in Christianity, and they're doing the ceremony for, what is it, first Sunday, taking communion. Drinking blood doesn't have anything to do with Jesus Christ. It has everything to do with Ptolemy doing his incarnation in Egypt as the first pharaoh. Okay? And the Egyptians would not, the black Egyptians would not worship Ptolemy because he was white. So he created a god named Serapis. Look up Serapis Christos. I'm not going to pull it up because I don't want to run out of time. And it's on previous videos. So yes, I am, because it looks like Jesus Christ. Let me pull it up. So if you do a search on pictures of Serapis, just quickly over to the left, to the right, you see an image. Let me see if this will let me open it up. Yeah, it will. You see this image? Same image they use as Jesus Christ. Okay, a lot of these images that they use for Serapis, they use them for Jesus. And how you can tell images of Serapis, he has this bowl on his head. Okay, this is an identifier for images used as Serapis. And some of these same images are used as Jesus. Haven't you seen this image in Christianity that look like Jesus? It's Serapis. In the Ethiopian and who they say is Jesus, it's Serapis. He got the same bowl on his head. Serapis. So the Egyptian, the Ptolemy, when he became the first pharaoh, the first white pharaoh in Egypt, to get the Egyptians to worship his created god Serapis, he said that the first Egyptians that worship Serapis would be known as the bishops of Christ. And that the same story of Serapis was told of Jesus, before Jesus, that he was immaculate conception, crucified, resurrected, all of these things. Then the white race Caucasians that had come out of the Caucasus Mountain after 2,000 years of going around the Mediterranean Sea and all around Africa, telling everybody about Serapis, it was an easy conversion to Jesus Christ because it's the same story. They only had to change the name. Okay? But I'm just showing you the images that you have hanging in your house with Jesus Christ on the wall is Serapis. Look at it. Okay? These are just a few of them. But it's loaded. Okay? I'm not making it up. Look. Look. Okay? Serapis, then it became Zeus, then it became Zeus, then it became Jesus. Okay? Just do your own research. I'm just showing you that, you've been tricked, been bamboozled, just like Malcolm said. And just like Stevie Wonder said too, because when you believe in things that you don't understand, what did he say? You suffer. Because superstition is not the way. Okay, here's some more pictures. You'll probably see something right in here that look just like Jesus Christ. Let me see if I can find one for you. Well, you can do that. You can do that on your own. I don't wanna tie this up. So when we trace everything back to our Kemetic mythology, you can see that this is what they use to create their religious dogma and doctrine to start a religion and go around and erase everybody else's. They carved our ancestors carved everything about us in stone. See, this is Amen-Ra sitting right here, carved in Egypt. But how would we know that when we've never been taught anything in the European colonial system about ourselves, about anything that our mythologies, we're victims. But we're victims now by choice. We're victims now because we choose, even though the alarm clock is going off, to hit the snooze button and lay back down and go to sleep. Man, I'm not ready to get up. I need more rest. I'm not getting up. Well, go ahead. So when we allow our colonizers and slavers and oppressors that have only been on earth 8,000 years, who started a religion 6,000 years ago, erased everything about us, put us in chains, gave us a book and said, here's God. The reason that they did that is because they know they're greedy. Number one, not all white people. Now, let me put it in the proper context. I'm not talking about all white people. On a percentage basis, a lot of white people are victims by their own people, just like a lot of Africans are victims by our own people, okay? Greed, okay? They knew that they, first of all, didn't have sustainability. Okay, none of the nations that became European nations had resources to sustain themselves in any kind of civilized, what they say today is modern way. Africa had all these things, so they knew that if they didn't put a system in place to dominate us mentally, psychologically, first, then physically, they didn't stand a chance. Okay? They didn't stand a chance. They also knew, with all of the cruelty that they had done and were getting ready to do, because they were just getting ready to ramp up after the Berlin Conference to conquer all of Africa. Africa has 52 nations Africa has 54 nations and they colonized 52 of the entire continent. Okay? They knew that if they didn't have a system in place to control the minds, mentality of the black people and put them in a system that they would be in a belief system that took them away from their spirituality. Their fear was that the African people would do to them what they were doing to the African people and make them their slaves, and they couldn't stand out in that sun. That's why they needed slaves. They could not absorb the sun. They'd burn up. Cancer would kill them. The majority of their population would die because of the lack of melanin. Because when the kiss of Ra kisses that skin, it's going to burn it. They're going to have problems. I worked with, I don't know if she wasn't an engineer. I forgot exactly what her job title was. I worked with her at the Naval Research Lab right here in Washington, D.C. And one summer, she and some co-workers went to Virginia Beach, okay? And she got drunk. Now, she wasn't just white. She was like Donald Trump and Elon Musk white. I'm not trying to pick on or belittle the members of the white race that can't tan. There are some members in the white race that if they go out in the summer without an umbrella, they'll burn up because their skin won't tan. Their skin won't produce melanin. The only place their skin has melanin is in their hair. Okay, so they went to the beach and she got drunk. Now, she had kind of reddish hair and she was very, very light skinned. She didn't look like she had any melanin in her skin, okay? And she went to the beach and her friends, she got drunk and laid out on a towel and went to sleep. And she came to work Monday. She was burnt up. Excuse me. I can see her, man. She had boils. Oh man, let me move this out of the way. She had boils all over her head, all down her back. I mean her shoulders, because she's out there in a bikini. And you know, when she came to work, she really couldn't wear her clothes because, I mean, she was burnt up. She had to try to keep the clothes off of her skin. And she told us, she said, you know, I mean, and the boils, the blisters were like balls full of, like a ball, like a burn. You know, like if you set your arm down on the stove accidentally and you get a ball, she was burnt up, man. And her friends could all tan. And they out there in the water swimming and everything and not paying attention to her. And she laid out in that sun too long on one side, and man, it burned her up, you know. She had second degree sunburns. She had second degree sunburns, and it was bad, man. I hated to look. It hurt me to look at it because she was a friend. Okay, and I'm not trying to talk bad about her. I'm trying to explain to you, first of all, how important melanin is. Second of all, that we are children of the sun and we don't have a problem with it. The problem that we have with it now is that in this northern hemisphere, and probably in the real southern hemisphere too, is we really don't get enough sun. And during the summer months, we have been conditioned more for comfort. When I was young, man, we didn't have air conditioning. The car didn't have air conditioning, so we were conditioned for the heat and the sun. We could stay out and play in the sun all day. Okay? That's because we're children of the sun. But what are the risks of frequent sunburns? Okay, and this is what happened to her. Repeated sunburn don't just cause immediate pain and redness, they can come with significant long-term consequences. Premature aging. UV exposure damages the elastin, leading to wrinkles, fine lines, and saging skin. Hypopigmentation, excessive sunburn, triples uneven melanin production, causing dark spots and sunspots, and increased risk of skin cancer. according to the skin cancer, to us in two, because they're not children of the sun. The sun is going to kill them. Okay, so I'm not going to make this any longer. I wanted to do a video on what is the kiss of Ra. The kiss of Ra is when the sun radiates onto the skin of melanated people and illuminates the beauty that we all have. You know, our natural beauty can't be copied. You cannot go to a beauty shop and get 9/8 hair. You know, just as much as we have black people bleaching their skin, getting their nose thin and their lips reduced. Look at the white women. They're getting their lip injections to get bigger lips, getting melanin, getting implants, so they can bust out in the front and the back like a black woman. So stop trying to be them and be you. They can't be us, and we can't be them. I don't care how much you bleach your skin, you can't bleach your genes. And when you have a baby, that baby's coming out, well, now that they have genetics, they can change that too. Okay? So these people's whole goal has been to change the natural nature, first of all, of black people. But because of greed, and they don't have the same relationship with nature that we do, the majority. I'm not going to say all, because there's some white people, man, that love animals just as much as we do. They have a relationship with animals just like we do. A lot of these whites that have that relationship are hanging around with Africans. Okay? But notice now, you can't go in a grocery store and buy any natural food. I can't say that you can't go in the store and not buy any, but you better be reading the labels. And when it comes to fruit and vegetables, you need to know that it's non-GMO. They've changed the natural nature of everything. Okay? And why would somebody do that? Why would someone go into a laboratory and figure out a way to turn heirloom seeds, meaning I can plant it this year, I can take some of the corn that I get from this year and plant corn next year. I can take some of the string bean seeds and plant string beans, some of the lima bean seeds and plant lima beans, and I don't need to go to the store and buy seeds every year. I can plant seeds from what I grew last year. So the whole reason for GMO, number one, is to change the genetics of the plant so that it won't produce seeds. Who would want to go in a lab and make a seed that can't produce seeds, that is a sterile seed? Somebody that doesn't have a relationship with nature, somebody that's trying to alter nature. Who would want to go into a lab, and because GMO is old technology, and there's memory RNA, where they can plant vegetables that if you eat it, it only is going to attack the genetics of a certain genotype. Black people. So here are black people that don't grow our food anymore. We go in the grocery store, we buy string beans, we buy corn, we buy spinach, we buy all of these vegetables, greens and fruit, and go home and eat it. And because it is memory RNA, it remembers our genetic code and only attacks our body. So do a search on what is mRNA. mRNA is messenger RNA, is a critical molecule in genetics that serves as an intermediary between DNA and protein synthesis, carrying genetic information from the nucleus to the ribosome in the cataplasm. Okay, messenger RNA is a type of single-strand RNA that is synthesized. It's changed from DNA template during the process of transcription and carries the genetic structure necessary for the synthesis of protein, which are essential for various cell functions. So now they're going to be able to put food that is grown under the mRNA conditions, and you eat it, it's going to change the cellular structure of cell function in a certain genotype of people. Who have they been trying to destroy and change? Us. Okay? And at the same time, they can change their synthesis protein and essential for their cellular function. So now they're going to be able to possibly, incorporate melanin in their skin. Okay? So, these are the kind of things that we're dealing with. One, they're trying to eliminate us. And two, they're trying to survive on this process, on this planet. Okay, so all this is about control. So the transcript is a process begins when the enzyme called RNA polymerase binds to a specific region of the DNA and unwind the double helix and synthesize the complementary strands of RNA based on DNA templates, resulting in a primary transcript known as pre-mRNA. RNA processing, the pre-mRNA undergoes a modification, and here they're modifying. Why do you need to modify it? Because you want to change it, including the removal of non-coding regions, introns, through the process called splicing. What are you splicing? Leaving only the coding region, exons, to form mature RNA. Function and protein synthesizing. Once synthesized, mature RNA exists in nucleus and enters the cytoplasm, where it is translated into protein. See, they're changing it. They're translated it into protein ribosomes. The ribosomes lead to RNA sequences, mRNA sequences set to 3 nucleotides known as codons, each of which corresponds with a specific amino acid. The process known as translation and is key to part of the central dogma of molecular biology. They're changing everything, which describes the flow of genetic information from DNA to RNA to protein. Okay, so they're changing things. I'm getting ready to end this in a few minutes, but just go back and look. The importance of DNA or mRNA plays a vital role in genetic expression and is the molecule that conveys genetic coding. They're changing your coding. They're changing your structure. Okay, I'm going to end this. Come back and read it. But I wanted to do this because it was about the kiss of Ra, the kiss of who we are, and we are the children of the sun. Okay? And we are the first people. Our DNA has always been on this planet, and we are the total accumulation of every ancestor that came before us. It's just our turn to do the work. So let's get busy and do the work. Start teaching our children the truth and put a stop to this. The only way to stop it is to stop eating their food, first of all. The second thing is know that you're children of the sun and be a part of it. I'm going to say Ashe, and everybody have a great day.